ancient tale that is told of the Caliph Omar of the 8th century. Each day he would hold open court that he might hear the grievances and the issues that were affecting both individuals of the realm as well as the community itself. One day, a man is brought forth for judgment, for he has stolen food. The Caliph asked him, "Why don't you work and earn money for food on your table rather than steal from another?" "Your Honor, I do work, and I work hard," he pleaded. "But I still do not have enough food to feed my family, and even now they suffer and they are starving." The Caliph sent out members of his court to verify that such is the case. And after learning so, he sent for the man's employer. So the employer arrives to hear the verdict. And the verdict is that he would be the one punished if his employee is found stealing food again. Justice would be served even when justice is not practiced. Caliph Omar knew the law. He knew what he should do. He knew who should be accused and convicted. He knew that he could use the law to his advantage, at his whim, at his desire. However, he chose to go outside the boundaries of the law, to do what is right, what is just, what is kind, raising up the needs of one over the greed, or perhaps the indifference of another. An employer, in this case, who believed the law to be supreme and, most importantly, on his side. In the Jewish tradition of Jesus' time, there were more than 600 laws in the Hebrew Scriptures, and this number did not include all the nuances that could be deduced from such laws. The guidelines of behavior dictated to people the right thing to do in every situation, whether it be great or very small. And in fact, the practice of these prescriptions were very much wanted. They were wanted by the very devout, that they might shape their lives, avoiding the menace of sinning, or even the appearance. Oh no, we are good people, not those bad. Thus the Pharisees, the definers and the keepers of the law, accused Jesus of unlawfulness upon the Sabbath, as his disciples and he ate. And then he went on to have mercy upon a man who lived with deformity. But the Scripture goes on to define the very demeanor of Jesus. What does the Scripture tell us? He turns and looks at those self-righteous Pharisees, and he is angry. And when his anger subsides, he is grieved at the hardness of heart and the lack of compassion. But he would not allow that to deter him from rising above the law, to rise above such pitilessness, that he might engage in an act of mercy and kindness. My friends, the law is important. I do not want to let you with any other impression. The law is, in fact, a guideline. It becomes a framework for life. But it cannot, should not, dictate such a high cost, a cost of turning against some for the sake of others, or to define sin at the cost of another's dignity or necessity. God intended a humanitarian gift of both rest and action, of reflection and justice-making, all on equal terms, rather than a false and ceaseless environment of literalism and self-righteousness. Jesus extends this ethic, in fact, by acting with deliberation outside the box. He moves beyond legalism and the cultural norms to remind all of the true authoritative reality, and that is that the Holy One who creates desires humanity to live in faith, to act in love, to embrace God's grace with and among others, and to live in a wholeness and a holiness of life that is not to be ruled solely by law, and certainly not by addiction to the naming and oftentimes the shaming of others for our benefit, for our comfort, for our ease. Throughout history, we've been graced by those who have chosen that path of love and kindness, willing to embrace God's grace. Now, it is a path that is fraught with fear sometimes, but always with trepidation. Dare I get on that path? But always with an example to us who prefer the security of right, safe living. How we crave security. For us to step out of the box of the cultural norms that we live with, that is so hard to do. And yet sometimes we have people that rise up and become examples of doing just that. In this congregation, we have known a person who perhaps has done just that for us in a small way, but an important way. Just 4 weeks ago, Nancy Straw sat right in one of those pews. She has battled cancer mightily for over 2 years. And last month, after being very intentional, being very prayerful, she chose to end her medical aggressive chemotherapy, chose to end all of those procedures that she might prepare for death, not in the darkness of despair, but with an openness to prepare for her death, for a new life in the Lord Christ. It was a path not chosen very often, because our cultural norms dictate that death, that inevitability, it's ugly. We don't want to think about our death. We are always somehow shocked when someone dies, as if it shouldn't happen, and yet we know it does. We know it will do that to others, it will do that to us. It's just too hard. It becomes discomforting, disorienting, frightening to think about death. And so we put all kinds of definitions around it, we cloak it in all kinds of things, and yet Nancy has chosen a different choice. She has gone down a different path. You will know that if you visited with her in the last couple of weeks. She's glad to talk about it. She talks about, I'm coming, I'm walking towards death. But I also realize that others are walking with me, and that has sustained her. And she always brings a smile to me. Yesterday when I was with her, she talked about just a hug. She just said a word or two. hug. Oh, what a wonderful thing. She's not able to hug you. We were able to hug her. But that's okay. There was something of a grace to that invitation. This morning, we are invited to follow the Lord in breaking through the common norms that we want to find so acceptable, so comfortable. To allow a gentleness of heart to flood us in an act of kindness. To be able to talk about our hopes and our longing, both for her and for ourselves. You've been given a blank card when you came in this morning. You'll find pencils as well. The ushers have pens if you need them. Think about what you want to say to Nancy. Perhaps it is tonight. Perhaps it is tomorrow. We do not know. This afternoon we will take those cards and those thoughts and prayers, whatever you want to write. You don't have to sign your name. You can if you wish. You don't have to do that. Think about what would you want someone to say to you? What act of kindness? What kind of an acknowledgement would you want from that person as you too approach him? Take that moment. We're going to do that right now. That we might join her on her path from death into eternal life. And then we're going to put those cards in the offering plate, and they will become part of what we place upon this holy table. And then we will take those cards this afternoon to her, that they may sustain her and embrace her with your kindness and your mercy and your gratitude and your love. She needs no poetry this morning. She needs no great eloquence. No. That's not what she needs. That's not what we need. Just you. Walking beside her at this crucial time, as her life ebbs away, and as life is received. As the scriptures tell us, we do not proclaim ourselves. We proclaim Jesus Christ as Lord. So, death is at work in us, but life, O Lord,